What's going on, guys, and welcome to my Spider-Man No Way Home review. So before I start, I just want to be a little formal, because some people might watch this video and they might see my popular reviews and they might see that, oh, I actually am like a hater or something of the MCU Spider-Man or something. And you could argue more or less that that's true. But today, let's just say that today is an interesting day because I am not actually here to rag on this movie. Surprisingly, and I'll tell you if I think it's good or bad in a little bit. But first I want to give some context and I want to be a little formal here because, especially to new people. So, hi, hello, my name is The Amazing Super Mike, and I have been doing YouTube for 6 years. I've been probably talking about Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home for roughly about 4 to 5 years, give or take. And, I was, again, at first, when I first saw Tom Holland Spider-Man, I was, in Civil War, I was kind of interested. I was very happy. But then they did Homecoming, and I got upset, and I made a whole review on that, and it was one of the most, it's my top-rated review, top-rated video of all time. We're sitting at over, probably almost like 30,000 views, with a mixed ratio. It is mixed, so it's mixed. A little bit more likes right now than dislikes, but it is definitely mixed as far as like 50-50 with that ratio. Because some people do like that movie. You know, some people fight me tooth and nail with that one. Far From Home, I beat that ass real good. I made that review, and it did a lot better. I think it's sitting maybe about like 15 or 16,000 views. I think it almost hit 20,000, I'm not sure, but those reviews are like the big kahunas for my channel. So this review is a very special review because this is a different movie. This is a different, feel here. This is, definitely one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. So let's just get right into this. First impressions, was the movie good or did it fucking suck? It was actually pretty good. It was Spider-Man No Way Home, I thought was actually pretty good. Now, I will be having a non-spoiler review section, which I will be starting right about now, and then there will be a non-spoiler review, and there will be a spoiler review section at the end. So I do plan on putting timestamps in here, so this video might be up at like, hopefully not 9 p.m., but I am gonna try to push this out as quickly as I can, but while still trying to do this video correctly, because I need to do this video correctly. And that, I got the classic, written pages. I have I think maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of just me writing stuff down, because there is a lot to talk about. And because I stretched it out, because I talked about, the actors and actresses of the story and the positives and negatives, and then, of course, the spoiler section. So yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting. All right, strap yourselves in, and let's get into this. So, yep, Spider-Man No Way Home was actually really, really good. Really surprised me. When I first started seeing the trailers, I was fully, I was, slowly starting to get cautiously optimistic. Because I was prepared for the worst. I was sitting here like, all right, worst case scenario, I just give him a good old right hook right to the jaw. Or virtual, you know what I mean? So, I was prepared. I had my right jab ready to go. I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this movie, and if anything happens, I'll be right here when it does. So yeah, I actually am really happy that I actually walked away from this movie liking it. Because the last 2 Spider-Man movies, I just straight up have just hated. And I've gotten so much hate for it, and I'm just glad that I can finally, say that, it was a good Spider-Man movie. So, with Tom Holland in it for once. So that, I'm really, really glad to say that. it still has some cringe, you know, like I think one of my biggest problems with the movie again is that it has a lot of cringe. Like there's a lot of cringe dialogue with Tom Holland and Ned Leeds and, you know, Zendaya and all that stuff. There's still a lot of that cringe. But over the course of the movie, that slowly fades away, and then we actually start getting a much better movie at the end. So that's good. I'm glad that the cringe faded away over the course of the movie. That's good. That's a good thing. All right, so let's get into this. So, actors and actresses, performances. Tom Holland, straight up Spider-Man. So, this is his best performance yet. I think that this is his best portrayal of Spider-Man yet. He finally became Spider-Man at the end of this movie, and that's all I'm gonna say in the non-spoiler review section. He finally grew the hell up, and he actually became Spider-Man at the end of this movie. I'm very happy about that, and I'll talk about it more when I get to the ending or the non-spoiler review section. So, yeah, definitely, he definitely knocked it out of the park this time, and he definitely gave me, he gave me more than I thought I was gonna get from him. Zendaya, I hate her. I hate her so much. Like, she's just so annoying. She's probably one of the most cringy characters here besides Ned. But her performance was definitely better here. It was definitely the best out of these three movies. So I'll give her that. But again, she's probably my least favorite character in all of these movies. Honestly, 100%. Seriously, Ned. I actually liked him in this movie. I was shocked. Actually, I liked him in this movie. Again, the cringe is there, but I think that there were actually some genuine moments where I kind of was, you know, all right with him, where I kind of was like, you know, kind of liking him a little bit. But yeah, he does a lot more here in this movie. In the last two movies, he's just kind of like there, and he's just kind of like part of like a comedy relief with Tom and Zendaya and stuff. But he actually does something here. He actually does a lot more here. So that's part of the reason why I'm really glad, really happy with his performance in this movie as well. I think that Tom Holland and Ned, they did a really good job together, is what I'm saying. Alright, Doctor Strange. He's here at the beginning, and he's here at the end. There is a part in the middle of the movie where he does just kind of, like, disappear, let's just say. So he just kind of, like, gets the boot, and he's out of the movie for a while. But then he does come back at the end to fix all the mess. He does a great job. You know, there's nothing else I can really say. You know, I've always liked him as Doctor Strange, the actor who plays as him. I can't wait for Doctor Strange 2. It looks really interesting. So, yeah. Alright, moving on. Dr. Octopus. Alfred Molina himself reprising his role as Dr. Octopus. Now, I was a little bit worried because I was like, okay, you're bringing him back. How are you gonna do this? So, they do a really good job introducing him. The way they introduce him is basically literally right in the trailer where he comes out of the water from the bridge and shit. And that's really cool. It was a really good introduction. The fight scenes remind me of like Spider-Man 2 so much. The way he's moving, they did their homework with a lot of these villains and the way they move and the way they fight and the way they talk and the way they act. Nothing about these villains is changed. Nothing about them has changed. They act pretty much exactly like they were from their movies. They literally feel like they were ripped right out of those movies and put right into this film. Same thing with Dr. Octopus, same thing with Green Goblin, Sandman, the Lizard, Electro, all of them. They really feel like it's the same character. So that's really good. I'm glad they did their homework. There's a lot of moments in this film where they give you those reminders and the stuff like that, and they do a really good job with that. I'm very happy about that. But Dr. Octopus, he was in it a lot more than I thought. I don't know. I kind of feel like he was going to be here for a little bit, and then he was just kind of like go away. But he was here a lot, actually. He and the other villains, I would say, were definitely here a lot. which is shocking to me, given how many villains we have, and how big this movie was looking to be. So they really knocked it out of the park here. So yeah, moving on. Green Goblin. Let's talk about Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe, fantastic job. This, if it were up to me, and if I was like renaming this movie, if I had to rename this movie, I would rename this movie Return of the Green Goblin, because that's how good of performance he does in this movie. That's how great he was in this movie. It was so awesome seeing him again, and he again. Like those moments in Spider-Man 1 where he was like kind of scary. He's kind of scary. He's scary here. It's actually, he does a really good job being Green Goblin again here, and it's really good. And that man hasn't aged today. He looks exactly the same as he was when in the first movie, so I'm really happy about that. Sandman, really good. He surprised me too. I like the actor who plays as Sandman. It's a damn shame that he's so old. A lot of these actors are getting old now. I mean, Alfred Molina, like what, 60s, 70s, Green Goblin about 70s, Sandman like roughly 60s, 70s now. So we're probably not going to see these actors portray these characters again, but they really give a great job like with their performances. I was really shocked. They were literally the same characters from the movies. Like there was never any moment where what they said or did felt out of line with their character or anything like that. All of them felt exactly how they should. I'm very happy about that. The Lizard, he was probably the worst because he didn't really do much. He talked a little bit, and it was the same guy, but again, it didn't really do much, honestly. He just kind of felt more like a jobber here. Same thing with Electro. But Electro did a little bit more than the Lizard. Good job. Jamie Foxx reprising his role as Electro. He did a good job, but he ain't no Black Shaka. I brought it back. Yes. Yes. But it's like a running joke I have on this channel with Black Shaka from Homecoming, so yeah. But Electro, I liked him in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I liked him here. Not the best job, but again, felt exactly like he did from that movie, so he did a really good job here. Alright, Aunt May. Really good job. Definitely the best performance here too. Her performance would have been better though if, again, there weren't all these MILF and GILF jokes of her. Honestly, if none of that existed and if they didn't make jokes like that in the movie, I think that, her performance would have hit harder, if that makes any sense, hit better. It would have been a lot more emotional, because there are a lot of emotional scenes in here, let's say. There are a lot of scenes where they actually are being serious in an MCU movie? That can't be right. I was told it was happy woohoo pizza time in the MCU, and the DC was like all about death and misery. So yeah, again, definitely would have hit me a lot harder with the Aunt May scenes if they, again, didn't have a lot of those jokes with her, and they actually, kind of spend a little bit more time with her in the previous movies, because they didn't spend a lot of time with her in the previous movies, and Happy Hogan's here. He does a good job. He does a really good job here, actually. I have not seen him, do this good since I think maybe about like Iron Man 1 or 2. Like he did a really good job here acting. So I was glad to see him here, even though, again, they had those stupid jokes with Aunt May and Happy Hogan, so it's like, whatever, get out of my face, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Alright, so that was the characters. Let's move on to the story. So everyone knows who Spider-Man is. Everyone fucking knows who he is. Everyone is, like, taking pictures of him, videos, like it's not good. It's really bad, actually. So yeah, everyone knows who he is, and Peter finally starts realizing. So Peter finally decides to go to Doctor Strange after, I think, fucking months. I might be wrong, but I think it was like a few weeks or months since everyone found out he was Spider-Man. And I was sitting there like, what the fuck? This is, because they did a mixture of like this thing where I said I didn't want them to do, where it was like, oh, everyone knows that he's Spider-Man? Well, then I expect all his villains to be at his front door. So I was like, what the fuck? What, cause I mean, and let's just say normal people on the street, a lot of them are not exactly happy. I would say the only people who are actually kind of happy, you know, that he was Spider-Man was like his classmates. And some of his teachers, not necessarily anyone else. Literally no one else. But anyway, it starts to affect, you know, Zendaya, Michelle, and Ned. So he decides to finally go to Doctor Strange, and he, you know, asks him to, you know, make everyone forget that he's Spider-Man, except Michelle, Ned, and Aunt May, and you know, all that stuff. And that is what leads to the problem, because, again, he's asking Doctor Strange so much, and then all of a sudden the spell messes up, and then shit hits the fan, alright? The whole thing gets messed up. The whole spell gets messed up. And because of this, it opens up dimensions to the other villains to kind of creep in here, which I kind of wish they explained more. You know, it was kind of one of those things like, where exactly did these villains come from? And they do kind of a good job kind of explaining where some of them came from. So that's good. But there were some of them where I was like, you know, kind of like, huh, when, you know, stuff like that. But yeah. All right, let's move on. So, that's basically the story. I don't really want to talk about anything else, again, to, like, spoilers, because, again, like, like, this is definitely one of those movies I feel like is really hard to talk about without spoiling it, just simply because, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here, all right? All right, so let's move on to the positives and the negatives of the movies. I'll actually start with the positives of the movies, you know, since this has been a very positive video. Tom Holland, at the end of this movie, he actually finally becomes a Spider-Man, right? He's no longer an Iron Boy Jr. He has finally became a Spider's Man. All right, so he has finally graduated from not just his freaking high school, but also the school of spider peoples. All right, so he really did a good job here. So I gotta pick my thing up real quick. All right, so the cringe is so another positive. The cringe is lowered again, like I said earlier. Getting rid of that cringe, especially later in the movie, was a good idea, because especially the more and more serious the movie got, I was gonna say, you can't fit those cringy lines in here. You better, you better stop that. And they do. And the cringe eventually, again, gets lowered, and then it kind of just goes away, and then it actually is really good at the end and stuff like that. So that's good. The villains don't act out of character. Again, like I said, they act exactly like they were for straight out of the movies, from their previous movies and titles, so that's good in the franchises. I'm really happy about that. Especially with some of the older actors like Green Goblin and, you know, Doc Ock. I mean, and Sandman. I mean, they haven't been here, again, since the early 2000s. So again, almost after a decade, it's really glad to see that, or even more. Like, for Green Goblin, it probably feels more like 2 decades. So for about like for a decade or two, for them to all to come back and like reprise their roles and basically do their role almost pretty much flawlessly, it's really actually really good, and it just goes to show how great these actors and actresses are to come back and reprise these roles. So I'm really happy to say that. So Aunt May actually acts like Aunt May. Again, I think that her performance would have been much better if she, again, was not treated like a gilf and a milf. Not just on the internet, but in the movies as well. Again, Iron Man ogling his Aunt May, and freaking Happy Hogan ogling his Aunt May, and it was just, it was really annoying. and I think that if that didn't exist, I think that the parts, her parts would have landed a lot harder. But again, I digress. So the stakes were higher. This movie definitely has the highest stakes. I would say not just, I would say probably on the level of, oh God, probably like we're talking maybe like Avengers levels almost. Like it was definitely one of the most highest stakes that Tom Holland's ever faced. Beside, well, not Tom Holland, but definitely one of the most high stakes Spider-Man movie, I would say, besides like Spider-Verse's story, which I guess I would say is kind of similar as far as the stakes goes with this one. Overall, this is definitely the best out of Tom's little trilogy here. This one is definitely the better of the 3 movies they made out of him so far, and I do recommend that you do see this movie. Which again, why I'm not spoiling anything yet and stuff like that. Negatives of the movie. So now we're gonna actually do my thing, and we're gonna talk all this shit in the world. All right, so let's get into this. The pacing feels weird in the middle of the movie. So when we got to the middle of the movie, I kind of feel like it started to go really, really fast. I felt like it was going a little bit fast. Not too fast, but it was going fast. Like, it's like, all right, so here's a normal pace, and here's like a very fast pace. You're kind of fast. You're kind of in the middle of those two. Like, you're not going too fast, but you're going, you're not going slow enough. And I get it. This movie's like over 2 hours. It's over 2 hours. So you're sitting in the movie theater for a long time. And it's taken them a while to set shit up. So you're probably sitting there like, oh, just get on with it already. Especially when we get, especially when you see certain scenes, you're like, all right, just go, go, go. But again, I think there were parts where it's like we needed a little bit more time here in certain parts in the middle of the story to kind of flesh things out or explain things. But overall, I think they do a good job at fleshing things out and explaining things. So that's good. But again, I think that would have helped if for them to flesh it out a little bit more. Like, I know that they deleted like a lot of scenes from this movie, so I expect to see a lot of deleted scenes in the DVD, Blu-ray shit when that comes out. So yeah. Some things aren't explained well. There are things, again, I think part of it is because of the pacing. Which is why I said that the pacing is mostly the killer here, is because I think if you had a little bit more time, you could have just explained things a bit more, because there were just some things I was like, what, you need to explain that a bit more. How does that work? How does that make sense? How does this work? I just had some questions throughout the movie, but not like questions where it's like, what are you doing? It's more like, can you just explain that a little bit more, Can you give me a little bit more meat with that, But again, it was all right. But there were some things that were not explained well. Again, I did say that the cringe might be lowered, but it still exists, especially at the beginning of the movie. The first 10 minutes of the movie, I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking to myself like, like I'm just like, geez, I hate you guys so much. I'm just like, oh, Tom, Zendaya, Ned, you guys, I'm just gonna, the first 10, 15 minutes, again, were me just kind of like, it was just a slog. But again, when the movie started kicking up after those 10, 15 minutes, then the cringe lowered and the movie got better and better, like I said. But again, it was still there, even a little bit throughout some of the middle parts of the movie, but at the end, it basically was gone. So again, that's good. Overall, tiny things hold it back. I would say that, that there are just these little things that just kind of add up together to really kind of bring the movie down. And I think that that's a shame, but I think, this definitely did, a lot for Tom Holland's character. I think that this movie definitely surprised me in more ways than I thought it would. And I'm just glad that they did it really well. I'm glad that they actually gave us a good Spider-Man movie this time. You know, I know a lot of people like to argue with me about Far From Home and Homecoming, but I stand by what I said, by the way. I still think that those movies are terrible, but I will say that this movie is definitely one of Tom's best portrayals of Spider-Man, and I think that he really did a good job here, and I think that now he is finally graduated from, you know, being Iron Boy Jr. to now he's finally a Spider-Man. So that's really, really good. But, you know, I do know that he's going to have 3 new movies, and I'm actually, you know, I'm actually excited now. I'm actually excited. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing some of the new movies that he's going to be in, especially because of the way that this movie ends. I am actually happy and excited to see how he, you know, his future moving forward. So I am very, very happy about that. And I'm just happy to finally be excited about Spider-Man again. You know, I'm happy to see, you know, some progression here. So I'm very, very happy about that. So with that being said, go see the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, this is coming from the Amazing Super Mike. It's good. It's a good movie. It's a great movie. I recommend it. 8 out of 10. Great Spider-Man movie. You know, again, like I said, they definitely knocked it out of the park this time around. And they definitely gave us something really, really great. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to spoilers. So I'm going to be putting a timestamp right about, I'm thinking about it here. All right, here we go. We're in the non-spoiler review section now. So if you don't want to be spoiled, get the hell out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I'm going to throw you I'm going to throw you out like I would throw you out of an old Western Red Dead Redemption 2 style bar. All right, get the hell out of here. All right, spoiler time. Spoiler time. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in this fucking movie, man. They're in the movie. Okay. So, yes, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield reprised their roles as Spider-Man, and it's fucking awesome. It is amazing. It is spectacular. It is sensational. It was really awesome to see these 3 Spider-Men just talking to each other. Like, this is exactly what I wanted. They gave me almost exactly what I wanted, which I'm going to talk about. So, the introductions, I want to talk about the introductions when they're first introduced into the movie, because that's even fucking better, dude. It's even better than I thought it would be. So, the introductions to Andrew. So, Andrew's first. So, Andrew comes through first. So what's happening is Ned and Zendaya are trying to, like, you know, find Peter, because Peter kind of like vanished. And I think he was fighting Doctor Strange. No, he wasn't fighting Doctor Strange at the time. I think he was like hanging out with the other villains, I think, or something along those lines. Or no, it was actually after the big fight at his hideout, or whatever you want to call it. So they're trying to find Peter, and Ned's doing stupid, weird shit with his hands, because apparently he knows magic, because his family kind of has the ability to perform magic. So that's kind of a running joke in this movie. But he does the little thing like Doctor Strange, and then you see Spider-Man, and then he starts like running toward the camera through the portal, and then you start looking at his body, his shape of his body, and you're like, wait a minute, and then he comes through, and you're like, wait a minute, that's Andrew. So then you see him like, holy shit, what the fuck? What are you doing here? So I guess those portals are confusing, because as soon as they go through, they seem to be very confused. Kind of like, I guess the portals kind of acts like the portals to different dimensions. When they come straight through, it looks like that they just came through, but for them it felt like a while or something, or some, I don't know. It was a little confusing, because the way they came through, they looked very confused, and they were like, huh, what's going on? So Zendaya and Ned are kind of talking to him, and then, he starts doing Spider-Man stuff, starts crawling on the wall, putting out, taking out cobwebs, because why not? His grandma wants him to take out the cobwebs. Why not? Sure. But then fucking Tobey comes through a portal too, and I'm just like, oh shit. It's like when your dad comes back with the milk after 14 fucking years, and you're like, oh god, oh please, like I'm literally like, holy shit. So then you see, and then they have Andrew and Tobey have like almost like this Wild West showdown thing where like they shoot webs at each other, and Tobey fucking gets them, and I was like, yes. Yeah, like, yes, I'm better. Oh shit, that was awesome. That was really, really cool. They're in the movie and it's fucking great. All right, so before that though, before we actually see that, so Tom Holland, he captures Dr. Octavius because Dr. Octavius took the nanites from him and he can control the arms. So he kind of like ties up Doc Ock with his own tentacles. And I thought that was cool. I actually thought that was the one cool thing about it. But again, still a lot of Iron Man references in here. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But again, then we start kind of getting all these villains. We start kind of, because they're collecting the villains, right? They're collecting the villains because they got to collect the villains and they got to send them home. Because that's the whole, like, kind of the beginning of the movie toward the middle. And then, like, it kind of shifts. Because then what happens is Green Goblin. So Green Goblin, he is definitely the big. He's the big villain of this movie. So Green Goblin's the big villain of this movie. Because Tom Holland's trying to bring all of them, all of the villains. And he's trying to like kind of help them. So you get a lot of scenes of him trying to help all these villains, which kind of works. But the only real people he really helped was Dr. Octavius with the chip thing from Spider-Man 2 that was broken. So he kind of like fixed it, and now he like is okay again. Like he doesn't have the voice, the tentacle voices in his head anymore. He's like normal now. I would say Doc Ock is like the only real good guy here, but when it compares to all the other villains are just are bad, straight up bad. So you're more or less actually just kind of fighting four. You get a Doc Ock fight again with Tom at the beginning with the bridge scene, but that was it. After that, after he's get the chip fixed again, then he's fine. That's it. That's over then. Again, like I said, Green Goblin's the big villain. He does a 180. He's a bad guy. And then like all the villains kind of like break out. That's why you see that scene in the trailer with like that place I thought was a hospital, but it's actually Peter's hideout after everyone finds out who he is. The Lizard even comes in. And again, this is probably one of those things where I don't know. I was a little confused because I was like, wait a minute, was Green Goblin and the Lizard plotting something? Because then, like, the lizard makes a comment about how it's, like, showtime or something. So, he comes in, he starts fighting Spider-Man a little bit. Electro and Sandman make a break for it, and then the Lizard makes a break for it, and Green Goblin's whooping his fucking ass. And it gets to a point where Aunt May tries to, like, because they were trying to cure Green Goblin, and she takes, like, part of the cure, and then he kind of just shanks him in the neck with it, and he fucking did the glider thing on Aunt May, where the glider came out, like came through the window and just smacked that bitch. And I was like, she's fucking dead. It was an impact, all right? It was like, whoa. And I say whoa because it's like then she gets up a little bit later after he leaves, and I'm like, what the fuck? How are you even standing? And then, like, I'm talking, like, Nathan about it, and he's like, oh, it's probably, like, adrenaline. And I was like, okay, sure. But, like, man, I was like, you're dead. And I was right. She fucking dies. And then so this is the part where I kind of started realizing what this trilogy was. So, literally the first 2 Spider-Man movies was literally them dicking around. And I think Sony, and I think the director, and I think the writers knew that. I think they knew that they were dicking around, and I think now they were like, all right, let's actually do a trilogy here. Because again, they already said they got him signed up to do like three more movies or something like that. So now it makes sense, because Aunt May tells Tom Holland, Peter, with great power comes great responsibility. And I was like, holy shit, they actually said the line. So, and when that happened, I actually started thinking. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Does that mean that Uncle Ben wasn't really a big part of Peter's life in the MCU growing up? Because that's the only thing that makes any sense. Because, again, I'm sitting here, I'm just like, it doesn't really, like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Because, are you implying that not only did he not ever have, or Uncle Ben never gave him the great power comes great responsibility speech, but you're also implying that maybe perhaps he never even really had a connection with Uncle Ben in the first place? Are you trying to say maybe that he never even kind of knew Uncle Ben in the first place? Because that's the only way that any of this makes any sense, right? So, as I was sitting there thinking that, she's fucking dead. The cops start fucking shooting at him. And then he takes off. He runs off. Which leads to, of course, Tobey and Andrew being introduced, which leads to a great scene of Tobey and Andrew talking to Tom about Aunt May and stuff, and like Uncle Ben, and with great power comes great responsibility and all that stuff. And I was just like, oh, like they really, you know, I talked a lot in the non-spoiler review about how the villains act exactly like how they were pulled from those movies, and that's exactly how Tobey and Andrew act from their movies as well. They really act like exactly how they're supposed to act. I'm really, really happy about that. That's good. But yeah, man, they gave me what I wanted. Then we got scenes of them kind of hanging out, talking to each other, kind of making jokes with each other. They even did the joke I wanted them to make about the about the Tobey shooting webs from his wrists, while Andrew and Tom shoot from the web shooters. I was really happy about that. I was like, yes, they did the thing I said to do. Like, someone made a meme of me where I was talking about, or basically I was kind of like calling certain things that happen in Far From Home or something, because I was making predictions about what was going to happen in the next movie. And someone made a meme of me on the Discord, where I have a Discord, by the way. It's in my about me page. Someone made a meme of me in my Discord where basically I'm talking about something, and then like there's a SpongeBob meme of like SpongeBob being like, write that down, and then it's like Sony's like, and I feel like that's exactly what happened with this movie. They were like watching my videos and they were just like, write it down. like, because literally I pretty much got exactly what I wanted. Almost exactly what I wanted. Like, it was crazy. Like I got that joke I wanted. We got a lot of, good interactions and fun parts with the other Spider-Men. That was awesome. I was really happy about that. I usually don't talk about this. The mix of the music was great. It was fantastic. I was actually shocked, because they actually, there were moments where they were playing the theme from the first 3 Spider-Man movies, and I was like, there was a little bit of mix of Andrew in here, and then of course Tom. I think there's even a track where their music's mixed, so that's cool. I'm really happy about that. That's awesome. I usually don't talk about that stuff, but the music, good job. all the Spider-Men fighting on this fucking Statue of Liberty. What an awesome set piece. We haven't used the Statue of Liberty as a set piece to fight on since X-Men, since the very first X-Men movie. So it was really cool for them to fight on there. That was really cool. That was a great idea. That was great. All right, so we're almost done. We're almost done, by the way. All right, so you Andrew fans are gonna love this. So there's a scene where Michelle is falling. And it was kind of funny because me and Nathan were talking about the scene where Michelle's falling. And I basically said that Green Goblin's gonna do something, and he does. He hits Tom out of the way, and Andrew's like, no! Because he remembered Gwen from Amazing Spider-Man 2, and he jumps and he saves her. And I was like, yes! 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 That's how you do it, boy! I was like, yes! I think the best part about this movie, you get all this closure, they take all these plot points from the old movies, and they kind of like Andrew, that was Andrew's redemption. Andrew saving Michelle from falling to her death, that was redemption for what happened with Gwen. And I was like, yes! But I will say that there was a part of the movie where Andrew's like, you know, he's just talking to Tom, and this is like back when, a little bit earlier, where they're kind of talking about, you know, when Aunt May died, and Tom's really upset about it, and Andrew's kind of talking, and he's talking about like how, he's talking about when Gwen died, he got bitter, and he stopped pulling his punches, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, are you saying you killed people? I was like shocked. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Did you kill anyone? Like I was actually shocked. I don't know the context of that. I don't know, literally, I don't know if they would have to explain it, but I don't know if he meant by like he killed people, or if like he meant by like he just kind of like started brutalizing people but not killing them. I don't know. Did he brutalize Harry? Because remember, Harry Osborn was Green Goblin in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, and I don't know, did he actually brutalize the shit out of him or something? I don't know. I don't know. That one's kind of a flipping the coin up in the air. So that sounds bad. So I don't know how Andrew fans are gonna feel about that. You Andrew fans can let me know in the comments below. But yeah, so, alright, here we go. So Tom almost kills Green Goblin, but Tobey stops him. So Tom's picking up the glider, and he's gonna like shank Goblin with it, but then Tobey comes in and just stops him, and he's just looking at him. And I got chills, because I was like, I got chills because I was like, that meant a lot to me, because, it's kind of like what some people wanted. Like, some people made, was talking about, like, is he going to be like an Uncle Ben type? And he kind of is a little bit in this movie. Kind of is a little bit. But he's more like that father figure, I guess you could say. Like, of doing the right thing, I guess you could say. Because, and it was kind of funny. You kind of see Tom trying to struggle to like, move, but he can't. Like, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the strongest, the fastest, and like, he is the strongest and fastest Spider-Man. Like, I'm not even joking. That thing where, like, him and Andrew have that, like, Wild West style web shoot thing, and he just wins. And then this part where Tom's trying to, like, outmuscle him, and Tobey's not even budging. He's not even budging. Like, Tom literally cannot move him. Like, he is much, much stronger than Tom Holland Spider-Man. It is crazy. and remember, he's probably super emotional. He's like, I just want to kill him, so that's with even emotion too, and he's just like, again, looking at him like, you better stop, this isn't right. And I felt that too. I was like, and I've been going through a lot of shit too recently, and like, that meant a lot. I felt like he was looking at me too, because like I've been very aggressive lately toward a lot of people for certain reasons, and almost in a way where I almost want to kill him, right? And but then again, Toby stopping him, and made me feel like, what are you doing? Like no, we don't kill. This is not what Spider-Man does. This is wrong. That was awesome. It was a great scene. And then they those fuckers do this thing where they Green Goblin shanks Toby, and then I was like, no. and then Andrew throws Tom the antidote, and then he decides to cure Green Goblin. And then Green Goblin's like, what have I done? And then and then Doctor Strange is trying to like fix the realities and stuff, and Toby's okay, by the way. He does live. So they even make a joke about that. Andrew and Andrew's kind of holding up Toby, and Andrew's like, "You're in like a lot of pain right now, aren't you?" And then Toby's like, "Oh yeah." That was great. That was great. Everyone, including Michelle and Ned, forget who Peter Parker is. So, Tom Holland's Peter Parker decides to tell Doctor Strange, just make everyone forget who Peter Parker is. And I was like, whoa. Right? And I don't know if it was Peter Parker or if it was Spider-Man. I think it was Peter. I think it might have been either Peter Parker or Spider-Man, but either way, he's alone. He doesn't have Aunt May anymore. So I was like, whoa, what are you doing? You know that you're going to have to, grow up really fast if you do that, right? And he does. He makes a grown-up decision. He's like, just make everyone forget who I am, including Michelle and Ned, and you get a nice goodbye with Ned and Michelle. You get a nice goodbye with Toby and Andrew. And it was really cool. I think one of my, one of my favorite parts about this movie, and this is probably the one thing I want to say, is that this movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, this movie was a movie for all of us. This was a movie for Tom Holland fans. This was a movie for Andrew Garfield fans, and this was a movie for Tobey Maguire fans. There was a scene in the movie at the end when they beat Green Goblin, and Toby, Andrew, and Tom, they're all hugging, and I'm just like, virtual hug, bring it in, come on, and it's kind of funny because I remember when I was getting prepared to do to watch the movie, and I was like, there's no way that they can make something this great, and they did a really, really good job, man. They really did. So yeah, man. I mean, so yeah, now Tom lives by himself. He's got his own little apartment, and it looks a lot like Tobey Maguire's apartment, actually, just a little bit. It's not as shitty looking, but it reminds me a little bit of it. And there was when I saw that, I was like, are we gonna get Mr. Dickovich? Give me rent. Yes, please. Give me rent. We didn't get that. I didn't see a Mr. Dickovich. Maybe we'll get that in the next movie. I don't know. But then the part where I lost my shit, you see a fucking sewing machine, and you see that Tom Holland has a new suit, and it looks like the classic outfit. I was like, yes, finally, yes, he made his own suit, and it looks great. But you can barely see the suit, so I hope we get to see more of that suit, man. Yes, finally. I was like, yes, you did it. You did the thing I wanted you to do. So yeah, man, this was a fucking roller coaster of a movie. Holy shit. But yeah, man, it feels like a fucking 12-year-old wrote, like a 5-year-old wrote this. Cause again, I'm like, really? This is how this trilogy is gonna end? This is how this constant fight with me and people online is gonna end? With me literally giving Tom Holland fans and Andrew Garfield, well, I I like Andrew Garfield already, but like all three of us coming together to give each other a big virtual hug, like I was like, who made this, a 5-year-old? But I was like, yeah, this is awesome. What a great way to end this, honestly. Like I'm very happy, you know. I feel good. I'm sure you guys feel good too. I know I've already heard some people in the comments already kind of talk about, you know, how they feel about the movie. They've already given me their rating. It's a lot lower than me, surprisingly. I mean, I gave this a fucking 8. Like, I was like, whoa, was I being too generous? And, you know, I thought about it for a while, and I was just like, no, I don't think I was. I think that this is literally the perfect score. I think an 8 out of 10 is the right score. I don't think that this is a 10. I do not think this is a 9. But it's not an average movie either, and it's not a slightly above average movie. It is a really good, great Spider-Man movie. And this movie is for all of us. It's for all of us. I think it's for the comic fans. I think it's for the, mostly the movie fans, the people who grew up watching, like me, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. You know, it's all of us. It's a big, like, nice group hug together. And it's not what I expected. It's not how I expected for this to end. You know, so I'm very, very happy that this was how this ended. You know, not just for the movie, but for, you know, me online talking about these movies. And, you know, and I think I can say, you know, again, like I said, Tom Holland, I'm excited. I want to see how he progresses in the next couple movies. I'm excited. Word on the street is we're going to get Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn in college. That's fucking awesome. I am so happy about that. Hopefully after Gwen, we'll get MJ, like the real Mary Jane Watson. I'm very happy about that. I love the fucking vibes I'm getting right now. So with that being said, big group hug. Bring it in. You Tom Holland fans, get in here. Come on. You get to be in this group circle hug with us Andrew and Tobey Maguire fans. Come on, bring it in. It's okay. You have learned how to be a Spider-Man. It is all right now. All right. 8 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.